Yes.
So anyway, we'll call the meeting to order and begin with roll call. So Selena Costabella, absent. Adrian Dominguez,
Present.
Present. Rodolfo Guajardo,
Present.
Present. Armando Garza, absent. Joe Barron, absent. Jeffrey Quigg, absent. Dave Akers, present. Felix Canales, absent. And Rafael Tawil, absent. So, for the committee, we do not have quorum for this meeting, so no votes can be taken. However, we will proceed with any, does that, point of order, does approval of minutes require quorum also?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so we cannot approve minutes this time around?
Correct.
We can hear staff reports and communications. We will have to table discussion and possible action of the items listed.
Correct.
Okay, so with that, thank everyone for being here, and we'll just jump straight to staff reports. Who is presenting on staff reports?
Alec, and he's outside, I guess, doing an interview.
Okay.
So I guess as soon as we come in, but we can jump into the other ones.
Okay.
And he's got the first, he'll also be doing 5.1, which is a e-scooter ordinance. You want to go to the Bartlett?
I had a presentation ready, but we lost connection to our projector when we had the technical review board here yesterday doing that thing. They hooked into it and I can't get back in for whatever reason.
Okay.
But we're just going to communicate that we did the striping on Bartlett. We made a presentation to the committee prior, maybe a couple months before, about the proposed lane change reconfiguration. And we were waiting on a little bit of construction work on the north side of the intersection of Bartlett and Jackman. So to accommodate the two through lanes, northbound lanes is what we did. So
on the north side, I guess it was
it was
narrow.
So we only had 36 feet to work with. And for whatever reason, the development came in. They didn't widen it to the full 48-foot section, which is what we did over the holidays. I think we had Public Works working on it. So we got it to the standard width of 4 lanes, matching up to the south side. So now we're able to take 2 lanes of traffic on Bartlett northbound
with the turn lane as well, right?
And we were able to extend that the right turn lane 500 plus feet. So it's really moving traffic very well. We don't see that back up there like we used to. And so all that extra time that we had for the traffic signal now gets to be used for the other approaches. So it helps the whole intersection in a whole. The other improvement we did on Bartlett was the traffic signaling on Bartlett and Hillside. In case you had noticed, everyone seems to be in agreement, and you seem to be very appreciative, and it's working very well. And we have the greatest technology there, and we're monitoring it remotely with a surveillance camera, and we can monitor the vehicle detection system from here as well, and so far so good. It's working out pretty good.
Great. Well, thank you.
So it's worked very well. I don't think we've received any complaints either on the widening of the intersection or the traffic signal. And just for information purposes, both of these projects were funded through the district priority funding, which comes through the Councilwoman Bielma. So she, out of her priority funding, funded both of these projects. Correct. Yes. Great. Nice. They work very well so far.
We typically identify the larger projects like the traffic signals on a capital improvement project. We have a big long grocery list of projects. And if they don't get funded, the last resort would be the priority funding from the council members.
Did these go through that process and got to it, or did she jump to the front and said, hey,
she jumped to the front.
That's right.
She jumped up front, and basically, like Robert mentioned, we go through that every budget year, and every budget workshop we have annually. We go through the CIP projects, and not all of them get, approved. So then for those reasons, they may be there on the list by council district, so at that point, it's the council member's decision just jump on those.
You know what I think would be a great idea is for this committee to send her a letter of, you know, kind of a thank you note. Could you send me her information?
Sure.
Eddie?
Mhm.
And I think that'd be a great gesture to
Yeah,
just
sure.
let her know we appreciate it.
On behalf of the committee, sure, yes, I think that's a great idea.
Okay. And that was both of these projects, right?
Yeah, both of those projects, let me see if how he's doing and see if we're ready for the other two items real quick. Shouldn't take us that long either.
Something else that happened on Bartlett, it wasn't on the agenda or out of the city's hands was the development in Alexander where they opened University Boulevard. So Alexander subdivision opened up University Boulevard to Bartlett, which is helping them out. So now they have all they have 3 points of access into the neighborhood. So that, in addition to all the improvements on Bartlett, really helping them out. So nothing but good stuff. Everybody coming back to us as far as the comments.
That's good. I'm trying to envision where Bartlett and Hillside coincide.
It's right here outside of the office.
Yeah.
The-
A
yeah.
block south and then a block
Yeah, the
east.
park and ride, right here, water
Okay,
tower.
right. Or west, actually.
That's the auto parts store.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as you get out, if you drive towards the west, you'll hit it right there. Yeah, at the corner.
Maybe in the meantime, I was curious too that we had discussed a recommendation to council about some speed limit adjustments on Delmar from McPherson to the Loop. I don't think we got feedback on what happened there or how that shook out.
I think they were gonna raise this from 35 to 40.
It was to make it all 40 all the way through.
That's correct, yes.
They didn't approve.
They didn't approve it.
Just curious, I was this standalone negative vote on that.
Well-
Yeah.
So
I know you were against it.
Against
Yeah,
it.
no.
Against it.
Okay, right.
And the reason it didn't pass, I guess we had a new council member coming in,
Dr. Marta Martinez, yes.
He's coming in District 6.
Right.
And so Nelly's on the south side of Delmar, Councilmember Vilma, and Councilmember Allgilt, and they're as well as Councilmember Bali, all proponents of the new Vision Zero ordinance that we adopted recently, which is the zero fatality, and I think we had a presentation on that as well. And so at the same time, we're recommending or adopting the Vision Zero plan. We're bringing in the speed limit, and they thought that this was in conflict with
Right.
the two, so they turned it down.
Yes.
But then we have to go back and look at some other way to I guess accommodate that roadway and the speed zone there, because we followed every standard practice, engineering practice to determine those speeds, which were, as we stated, 40 miles an hour for all practical purposes. And so they're going to continue to speed down there, and so it's a never-ending situation for law enforcement. So it just doesn't work to say, well, I'm not going to change the speed limit. We have to do something more, something else.
Sure.
So you can't just go out and post the speed limit and say, you know, from now on I want everyone to drive 30 miles an hour. It doesn't work like that. So, but we're going to keep looking at it.
Sure.
What do we?
You're on, sir.
Something about bicycles. I don't know.
Bicycles never work. Never work.
So you want to start with the safe routes to school?
Do we have quorum? Can we?
No, we just pretty
Just
much
casual.
Yeah, just casual information purposes, just so that they.
It's a grant program that is about $9 million for all non-vehicular investments in transportation. So we're talking about fixed sidewalks, bike lanes, shared use paths, safer intersections, that kind of thing. And it's completely federally funded, so no matching, you know. But as I'm sure Fenia was saying before I walked in, it's a very involved process, and council started with one site, and then they went to 2, and then they went to 3, and then they went to 4, and we don't have we're working on a skeleton crew right now. We just lost our traffic engineer. We lost 2 or 3 of our other folks. Engineering lost a whole bunch of people, and so we just don't have the manpower necessary to pump out 4 applications. So right now we're looking at which 1 or 2 are the ones we're really gonna shoot for. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
And there was a workshop this morning. I
There was
guess
a workshop this
you
morning.
just maybe want to explain a little bit of what it is, or
Yeah.
or the 2 projects maybe that we're looking at.
So we're looking at the Santo Niño area where Figueroa is. We're looking at the mines area where George Washington Middle is. Looking at Del Mar where Trotman is, and we're looking at Park and Santa Maria, sort of where Martin is. As it's looking, the 2 ones that would make the most sense are the ones in mines and the one at Santo Niño. Because for each of those 4, we're going to have to take the engineering for cost estimates. What are there water lines or electrical lines that will have to be relocated? Are there any right-of-way issues? It just becomes really, really in the weeds very quickly. And the preliminary application is due in about a month. So we're really working with.
Yeah, and the main idea is just like the name says, it's getting kids safe from home to school, hopefully walking or biking. That's the main thing. And so creating these paths so that they can just pretty much walk there safely without having that.
And I'm sure, I know I've probably said this to you guys before in previous presentations, but we're looking at the first generation in 200 years of children that are having shorter expected lifespans than the parents. So our kids, your kids, are expected to live shorter, less healthy lives than you are. Because of a lot of things, the rates of childhood diabetes and childhood obesity, the air quality, all of these things that are very related to our dependence on cars are killing us. So this is sort of the mentality of, well, how can we get kids out of the cars, reduce congestion, all that good stuff. And on the school side, they're talking about all sorts of really cool programs to complement it, like getting some of the bike PD from downtown to do like a sort of a caravan to the neighborhood where you get one bike picking up kids and showing them how to use the route. Talking about sort of like a point system where you can, log how many times this week did you walk your bike to school, and you'll get points, and whichever class gets the most points has a pizza party, things like that. So it's creative. It'll bring the community together, and hopefully we can get some of those monies our way. Yeah.
Cool.
I like the data point you mentioned about lower life expectancy. What population was that, or where was that?
This is the United States. This is countrywide. Okay. For I think it was kids born like 98 and after, so we're looking at really elementary, middle school aged kids that for a lot of different reasons, not the least of which being that we have designed out of our lives the useful walk. You don't have to walk anywhere. And so we tend to think of exercise as going to the gym and doing deadlifts for an hour and a half, but really there's a wealth of study that shows if you just do a 20-minute walk to work or a 15-minute bike to work in the morning and the afternoon, you're good. Yeah. But we're not doing that. So yeah.
Any questions?
Last question I have. I stepped out for a second. Was there anything mentioned on the e-scooter ordinance?
No, that's the other. That's the next topic.
Okay.
So as of Monday the 4th, we published it in the paper. That means it's worked. It's in the books. So two folks already picked up the applications. That's Lime, which is multinational, and Blue Duck, based out of San Antonio. We're expecting to get those applications back either the end of this week or next week, and we'll probably see scooters on the ground.
In the river.
And in the river.
Yeah, we talked about all that.
Yeah.
Preliminary.
But you know what? Of the places that I've seen, a lot of college campuses do that.
Yes, right.
Those things happen, but then there's an adoption phase that they move in. People get tired of doing crazy things with them, and then then they move into more of a seeing any use of them.
Right.
Right.
I'm-
So we
I'm
started a
excited.
pilot program, right?
Yeah, so it's a
That's-
6 month.
Yeah,
right,
6 month pilot, yeah.
With things like strikes, we can revoke your permit if you're not picking them up and taking care of them and stuff like that. Every company has to have a full-time employee in Laredo that can constantly respond to these things. They have like an hour and a half window to address any problem. We hopefully put a lot of sort of
Yeah.
fail-safes in the policy, but I mean, God only knows what will,
I think it's I think it's intriguing to see
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, well, like I was saying just now, I think if anything, it'll be a catalyst to get people out of the cars, look at their cities differently, interact with their the public streets and roadways differently.
Yeah,
Hopefully-
so like anything, I mean, the new things, you hear pros, cons, and all
Right.
that. So it's again, it's a pilot program when other cities have adopted it, Austin, San Antonio, so you see them over there, and so we're just trying to just follow that and then see hopefully where it gets us.
Is it only downtown, or is it Tammy, you and LEC also? Okay.
Everywhere. You can pick one up in downtown, right at North Central, leave it there, and literally anywhere you want to go. And of
You want to
course,
talk a little bit about the data that we're gonna be?
yeah,
right?
I mean that's another really important thing is that each one is obviously GPS equipped, so we can find out where they're being written, at what time of the day they're being written, and so hopefully that'll take the superstition out of investments and developments. Right now we're going, well, we think that this road would be great for whatever, but we don't really have a lot of that data to back it up. If we're finding that a lot of these people are riding at lunchtime from downtown to McPherson and Colton and then back, well then this is a perfect place to put bike lanes or otherwise infrastructure.
Yes.
And so we're really excited.
So
to
we
see what that
incorporated
looks
all that into the ordinance so that they can provide us that.
I'll throw out a term you can use in transportation, well, in trucking, we call those power lanes.
like. Power lanes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
So like a really heavy
Yeah,
Okay.
transited,
Yeah.
right, call them power
Yes.
lanes.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
catchy.
Yes.
I like it. Power lanes.
Already, yeah, cool. So that's already coming up, so you'll start seeing a lot of this, and that way you know where it all came from. And the other thing, and I goes before we finish, if there was something or that the committee wanted to see, or I mean, we'll pretty much present this formally, I guess, at the next meeting. But if there's something that you all definitely want to see, or I mean, we'll discuss it here, but just let us know and we'll bring that up.
Something that I've
Mhm.
noticed is, sometimes committees work and sometimes they really don't. We have really gotten into a good rhythm of
Yes.
this committee's been working, and there's
Yes.
regular attendance and regular,
Sure.
holding the meetings with regularity. So as we're able to convince the other members amongst ourselves to stay consistent and,
Yes.
and attend and all, I
Right.
think it'd be
Yes.
great to keep this committee as an exemplary functioning
Yes.
body, and just encourage folks to do that.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we're looking at doing some other policy oriented stuff, I know the last time we talked about complete streets, which will sort of change minimum design standards for how we build out our streets and what they'll contain and what they're for. I think we'll definitely need a lot of your input to create something that obviously the community will respond to positively. So that'll be coming down the pipe too.
That's great. Very good.
Well, absent the items that require quorum to discuss and possibly take action on, that would bring us to the end of the agenda. Is there anything that we need to include that we are able to include in this meeting that we're aware of? No? None?
Thanks for coming.
Hearing that, we stand adjourned.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, everyone, thank you.
Thank you.